Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity on behalf of StarCastTV. Upper right-hand corner, we have Speed, aka 10-minute Flash, starting as the purple turn. Bottom right-hand corner, we have Jum, aka Shuttle, starting as the red Protoss. This is going to be on Goodnight. Speed, if you are unfamiliar with him, I was too. I would say as of 2 weeks ago, but I got a series of replays and have been able to check him out. Seems like a very strong player. Actually, I feel like his alt handle here in 10-minute Flash is accurate, where in the first, he has a lot of aggression early, and when his opponents make considerable mistakes, he exploits them and can take victories that way. We'll see if he's able to do the same on a 4-player map versus Shuttle. See how I haven't seen Speed go to a really long macro game as of yet. Mostly it has been kind of more just flat out aggressive openers to try to take out his opponent and really catch them off guard, or again exploit something they're doing wrong. In many instances, looks like a supply depot to start. Upper end corner, we have that pylon warping in. Nothing too crazy as far as mid-map barracks or something along those lines. Shuttle, one of the stronger Protosses on the scene. Definitely one of those top Protoss contenders for a while. Hasn't been playing his top form lately, but he's still absolutely no slouch. Probe making its way out. It looks like it's going to get first scout making its way to the top right-hand corner, and that's going to be some harassment for Speed as well, because there is, we'll see if there's potential for a gas steal here, and that could be a big boon. And I'm wondering if that is also going to shift the, because this gateway is going to warp, and that probe is going to be right on top of Speed's base, and before the barracks is even finished, so I wouldn't be shocked. Never mind, we got a quick gas take overall, so timing of it did not allow for the gas steal, but getting that initial scout still pretty solid, and we'll see if this does change the build order, and we are seeing that initial zealot being produced rather than a straight skip into cybernetic score. Probe kind of wandering in. It looks like a couple SCVs trying to trail, and already recognizing the first scout. Speed dropping that defensive supply depot on that edge so he can sneak in between the gap and deal with that. I kind of like the positioning of this because it does give him a pretty good access to that SCV line, and the zealot has a little bit less maneuvering room, especially towards the right. And so, I don't know, I think that's a better than usual location. Sometimes Terran will put it down here, I think, just to set up bases a little bit differently. The probe's actually already taken a good amount of damage, and it looks like the SCV, recognizing that first scout came from the bottom right, so gonna get initial scout off opposite direction, a second and a third zealot being produced. So Speed's early game going to be tested, building that factory now. Probe gonna relink with that zealot. Actually, is the probe? Okay, yeah, for a second there it looked like that probe's gonna trail home, making its way. We already have two Marines on the defense. Supply depot going to plug up that right-hand corner, and the zealot wandering in wants to disrupt that initial SCV, and it looks like it has disrupted that initial SCV and got the kill, so that factory currently stopped. Marines took a little bit of damage from that probe. Second zealot making its way in to provide some additional harassment. A second SCV is nearby to linebacker and help with these Marines. It looks like a fourth Marine also being produced, but now there's two zealots out in the field. The factory not yet complete, and the SCV down again. Now 4 Marines out on the field versus 2 zealots, one of them extremely weak, but that factory's been heavily delayed. A third zealot making its way up, and an SCV again on the line. Looks like this time the factory has in fact finished, but several SCV have been taken out. Looks like this is going to be 5 Marines now out to help deal with these 2 zealots. Shuttle re-engaging, still hasn't gotten a Marine kill overall. Looks like an SCV is being taken down by that Dragoon out on the front. First Vulture is going to be out, so a little bit of delay, and it looks like that Dragoon just going to sit tight. Machine shop being built, zealot taken out otherwise, and now that leaves Speed with a handful of Marines. Let's see if we get some heavily damaged Marines, immediately dropping a second factory. Vulture making its way out. Looks like there was a Nexus follow-up for Shuttle, and the Dragoon marching its way forward. Do we have range? Yeah, range is going to be finished in not too long. So despite the heavy Marine count, 2 of them are basically a single Dragoon shot away, although it's going to... Okay, didn't take a huge amount of damage there. Vulture went all the way around, so might be able to get some disruption, deny that natural expansion. Shuttle really pushing it against a lot of these Marines, maybe because he recognizes, despite the misfire rate, with just a single shot, might be able to get some free kills. Instead, taking some base damage on that initial Dragoon. And as Dragoon range finishes, he's backing it back up to the main. Vulture looks like it's been pushed back midfield. Next is about halfway complete. So, tank making its way out, but keep in mind this was a double factory opener. Mines also being researched, so losing this Vulture before mines are upgraded could be a big win for Shuttle. The Dragoons trying to push it out. 2 additional gateways dropping for what looks like a 3-gate robo opener on Shuttle's side of the map. Getting his observatory out as well. And Speed pushing it a little bit. He's built 2 additional Marines, which suggests this is going to be some sort of FD maneuver. He's got an SCV on the low ground. I'm not sure why he has that here because there's nothing nearby to spot to complete the fake. Maybe he's hoping additional scout would move out. Mines are complete. Shuttle, however, as long as he presses up into this, well, let's see if he presses up into this. Needs to be very, very careful with these mines out in the field. So one, ooh, is he going to try to micro as well? Didn't take the hit. So nice micro right there. Vulture trying to slide through, gets wiped out. Really hasn't gotten a solid look at the Dragoon numbers, but the 3 gateways are whirling. Single pylon towards the front, and here comes Speed. Vulture's flanking out to the left. The Marines going for the front. The Marines are really going to be key in this because, again, and also the positioning, I want to see the weak Marines towards the rear rather than leading up the front. The Marines can shed Dragoon shields quite rapidly, but again, 2 of them are very, very weak. So grouping up to the left, the Dragoons are actually moving out towards the front to clear some mines, and that's leaving the natural expansion very exposed. However, that's also creating a pincer opportunity as the 3 siege tanks and Marines are making their way down. 2 more pylons dropped. Ooh, Dragoon's actually getting annihilated right there. Observer going to spot everything overhead. The Dragoon's actually going to back out. The probes have not pulled out, so they could be under heavy fire. And the rest of Dragoons now trying to chase back to the main. It looks like probes pulled off the line. The Dragoons eating some mine fire between point A and point B, but most of the siege tanks have been wiped out. A handful of probes have taken heavy losses here, and the Vulture is able to crawl all the way into the main to get on the probe line. And so we're going to rack up a lot of kills and wowsh and making short work of those probes as well. They've not been in there that long and have already dropped Shuttle's probe count down to 15. And now all of a sudden Speed has a massive economic lead. He's gone ahead and grabbed that natural expansion. And some critical, it looks like sweep across mines, really obliterating. So Shuttle with just a bad move out. And I got to give it to Speed. That was a clever timing engagement to really notice that the Dragoons were sweeping up along that right-hand side and just able to slip in underneath and absolutely crush Shuttle's bases. And now Shuttle, ooh, and even slip, okay, the Observer at least sees it this time. Some Dragoons making the way towards the front. Does he have enough? It looks like Speed does have enough behind this. Built a bunker and 2 more Marines as well as a missile turret on the front just in case there was some sort of DT. This is more for, I think, defensive Reaver play. Overall, we do have a Shuttle that has been constructed, I assume, for Zealot bombs, because there's going to be one opportunity for Shuttle to... It's either you go for a quick 3rd base and hope for the best, or you fight into this. That engineering pay floating out pretty far. It's going to get dropped. So the turrets that are out in the field are all the turrets that will remain. Vultures camping out already just in case there was a quick 3rd base take. But the Dragoon count growing outside that natural expansion. Looks like it's just going to be 3 Zealots to maybe, those are very grouped siege tanks right here, to drop on this. And now does Speed have enough to defend? 4 Marines in the bunker. The Shuttle able to drop its entire complement on top of the siege tanks. SCV's now pulling off the line, but maybe a little bit delayed. Group repair not enough to save the 2 siege tanks. But at the moment, it does not look like Shuttle has enough, as the SCV is able to linebacker that Dragoon. And yeah, that barracks is taking damage, but reinforcements in the form of those mech units are shortly going to be able to repel them. And that was not a lot of losses at all. So a few troops lost, but not enough to really close the economic gap. And now those siege tanks spread out. Is there going to be another engineering bay drop? No, there's going to be a factory flood. So 3 more factories plop down on top of this. Now that 6 o'clock location being cleared to maybe plant a base, but this feels very too little too late if that was going to be another base grab. Assimilator being tacked on, still sitting on 3 gateways right here, and this is where Shuttle really needs to, if he's going to go for it, pull the trigger and drop a bunch of gateways if he's staying in this match to try to go for some sort of obliterative maneuver. Instead, it looks like he has tried to keep that probe count rebuilding and is maybe thinking about grabbing. If he grabs a third base, he's playing right into Speed's hands here as those factories are being redropped. Instead, maybe going for a soft contain. 7 Dragoons out on the front. Another engineering bay being dropped to provide little spotting, and Speed pushing into this. It looks like some vultures able to sneak through the lines. Get some look at this. This is still again off 3 gateways, so now an additional gateway being dropped to go up to 4. We do have a Reaver as well with 2 Zealots. I just don't think this is going to be sufficient. Supply counts are even. Worker counts are actually pretty close to even as well, but in a moment, Speed is just going to have an overwhelming amount of troops, it looks like, to be able to punch through this. Check the 6 o'clock location, found nothing. It looks like there's a single Dragoon just blockading. But Speed starting to maneuver out. Did he actually get +1 weapons on top of this? I'm trying to find the armory out here. It looks like not, but ooh, the timing just a little bit off. So Shuttle able to get some SCV kills at the natural expansion now. All of a sudden, he's got a worker lead. But does he have enough? Ooh, some Marines dying out on the front. Does he have enough to repel Speed's advance? 0 anti-air here. Speed slowly making his way forward. That was a very narrow siege. Continuing to filter troops out. Looking for a bomb. Gets some damage on the 2 front siege tanks. Weaver gonna get a big shot. Able to take out 1. The Dragoons now peeling in. Another big shot from the Reavers on that rear siege tank line. A siege tank out of position from the north, and it looks like Speed now falling apart a little bit, but it's too much for Shuttle. As the Dragoons trying to retreat, the Reaver still there. An open line of troops has... You got a nice convoy moving for Speed, although he's slow. This is a very deep line to drop those turrets. And I think it just might be too slow. Because oddly enough, now Shuttle, it's 2 base versus 2 base, which does give the Terran the overall economic edge. But the gateway count starting to filter in. Yeah, now we got a bunch of gateways. We got a good amount of Zealots and Dragoons towards that natural. And this just feels like it is way too slow. The Reaver redropping at that natural expansion, able to get some additional SCV. Scoop right back up. So Speed a little bit committed now. He's down 30 supply all of a sudden. A little bit. Loses a Reaver to the mines there. But going to take out a turret in between point along this convoy line. And this honestly looks like very old school Brood War play of the very, like, way out there build and contain Terran style. Although the 6 o'clock base is already in construction, 20 supply lead. Granted, 19 of that is in workers. Is Zealot leg speed there? A couple Dragoons getting caught out of position. I don't know if this is going to pay off for Speed or not. Some mines planted to the south, so that's going to cut off that 6 o'clock. The siege tank's moving forward. This is a pretty sizable siege tank count. They don't have that +1 weapons, and there's no shuttle, and just Dragoons exposed on the front. The Zealots are not there at all. So now the Zealots and Dragoons trying to press forward. The Vultures hugging that siege tank line, and it is just Dragoons versus siege tanks now. And it looks like Speed has enough to go ahead and break that line. It looks like some Zealots lazily at the rally point, not engaging. And so Speed setting up a defensive engagement, just slowly making his way forward to the natural location, natural expansion. Zealot bombs moving out, but you needed that with the previous attack, not right now. And now The pylon wall is going to end up working against Shuttle. His own Dragoons are blockaded out of the natural expansion. Zealots now dropping, able to pick off that siege tank on the front corner. The Vultures pressing forward as well. More reinforcements making their way across for speed. So Shuttle has the 3 bases up. He's got all sorts of troops. But it looks like no Zealot leg speed, maybe a Reaver to try to help break this. And now we have a turret being built at the natural expansion and a slew of mines in between. Reaver speeding its way forward. The Zealot dropping first. Reaver down, and that should be it. A full control group of Vultures able to protect those siege tanks, and that is GG. A wild back and forth one, and Speed takes another one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Give a like and subscribe to StarCastTV. Be sure to support them on Patreon. Thank you for listening.